Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Janet Forrest. I'm one of the adult program coordinators at the Nantucket Athenaeum, and I'm here with my colleagues Amy and Daniel. And tonight we're super excited. This is going to be our final Yummy Monday of the season. We're going to start back up probably the end of August or September. And I couldn't be more pleased to have Jim Perelman, the former owner of the boarding house, here to present tonight. He is happy to answer questions as we go. So if you have a question, you want to put it in the chat, we'll keep an eye out for that. Or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, you can do that. And I think without any further ado, also if you have any ideas, like I said, we're going to start back up on Mondays in September. We'll do it weekly. So if there's something you want to know about or learn about, let me know. I'll put my email in the chat and send us ideas, because I love that. So without any further ado, I'm going to spotlight Jimmy and he can take it from there.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to give a shout out to a few people first, some sponsors, but nobody's sponsored. I mean, it's just people who are involved. First and foremost, my wife, Sherry, who without her certainly putting up with my foolishness from time to time and all these hobbies I have, but cooking wasn't a hobby. It was my career until I got elected sheriff 10 years ago. But also to Amy Janess and Janet Forrest, although we terribly miss the on-site events at the Athenaeum, where we've watched a number of these Mondays and other events, on Zoom, and it's great. The other thing is you can't have a dinner without wine, and we got a white Burgundy from Epernay, and I'll show you that, and I'll open that, and maybe we'll get started, and you can get started too. There it is. It's a nice, relatively inexpensive white Burgundy, and the one of the side dishes is spinach, which spinach it can be great or not, but this spinach is from Washashore Farm out on Hummock Pond Road, and it's unbelievable spinach. So, and you should buy it. So you get the stuff. We used to buy the organic stuff in the Stop and Shop, and there's no flavor. It was picked a month ago. The stuff from the farm here is amazing. So the main dish tonight is shrimp moutarde. It was my second most popular dish when I was at the boarding house. I was there from 1978 to 1986. Shrimp moutarde. It was a dish that one of the people who cooked for me kind of adapted from a few things that he had before. So what I'm doing now, and I've done a lot of the prep work already, but I peeled most of the shrimp. And I got the shrimp from the Stop and Shop, and they're 16/20s. For those who don't know what that is, it's 16 to 20 to the pound. This is a good size for this. You could even use a little larger size, maybe, U12s or something. But so I left a half a dozen, and I'm peeling them and I'm splitting them. So when I bread them and fry them, they'll be more surface for the breading. So, the shrimp will look twice as big by the time I get all the breading done. So that's what's happening now. So the breading is flour and egg, and I'll be dipping them in flour, shaking off the excess flour, dipping them in beaten egg, and then back in the flour, and then into hot oil. So, and when that's done, and you can do this, you could actually do it a day ahead of time, and then heat it up in the oven. And, as long as when they're hot and crispy, that's what you want. So that's that. Let's see. Shrimp. Try not to cut my finger here with this big knife. I think I've got one more to peel. So I've got a cast iron pan on the stove with grapeseed oil. You can use Grapeseed's a good hot, high temperature oil. You can use peanut oil. I guess there's some other vegetable oils that have high heat. In the days when I was at the restaurant, we got an unidentified oil in a big 10-gallon jug. So, who knows what it was, but anyway, so I've got all the shrimp. Oh, I didn't split this one. So all the shrimp are peeled, thawed, of course, and peeled, and they're split open like this. And now I'm going to start breading them, and I can bread them ahead of time. Sherry's helping me move stuff around. So they're going in the flour, and feel free to ask any questions along the way if you like. And this is a messy proposition because right in the hands. So I'm doing enough shrimp for 4 people, figuring everybody will have 5 shrimp. And I'm making it for 2 people who I'm going to give it to tomorrow, I'm going to deliver kind of a Meals on Wheels to a shut-in. So some of it will go tomorrow, and 2 of us will eat it tonight.
Not me.
Not Sherry, who doesn't eat shellfish. So more for me. But we have a friend coming over after who's also dealing with a shut-in, taking care of her mother, and she's going to have dinner with us. So
Hey, Jim, is that general purpose flour?
it's King Arthur all-purpose flour. Nothing exotic.
At all?
Pardon?
Is it seasoned at all, salt or
It's
anything?
good. The seasoning, no, there's no seasoning in the breading. It's all going to be in the sauce. So, and I'll also tell you that this would be, if you don't like shrimp, this would be a good dish with chicken. You pound a chicken breast and bread it like this and make the sauce. I think it would be just as good. So.
Is this a main dish or an appetizer dish?
This, I would say, is a main dish.
Main dish.
I've got, doing tonight's menu, I didn't plan on courses. I just planned for a dinner. So the dinner's going to be the shrimp, and I'm going to do a basmati rice, saffron rice in a vegetable stock. And then I'm going to have the spinach, which I'm going to saute some garlic and olive oil, and then put the spinach in, which I've already washed, and I'll put it in and it'll steam it. So the first batch of shrimp is ready. I'm just going to see if the water's hot enough. Not the water, the oil rather. The oil needs another minute, so I'm going to start with the rest of the shrimp.
Jim, did you say you can bread them the day before and leave them over?
You can fry them, bread them and fry them the day before. But, and then, once they're fried, you can put them in the refrigerator, and put them in the oven afterwards. Now, I wasn't sure how many people on here were going to say, no, he's the sheriff. What's he doing cooking? What does he know about anything? But I see some old friends on the screen, so I'm not sure. I don't see all of you, but I saw a number of you. So
That's okay, Jim. Anytime you want to share your famous cornbread recipe, I'm sure we'll all tune in.
well, maybe we can make an arrangement. How's that?
We're happy to be tuning in from Western Mass, Jimmy. Thanks so much for offering us the menu. It's Allison and John.
Hey, Sherry. I think you got the heads up from Sherry about this.
I know, she's your great PR, huh?
Yep.
Thanks, Sherry.
Hi, Allison.
She eats most of my cooking, but some of it she doesn't eat, so. And this is
And
one.
I'm tuning in from Maine, Jimmy. It's Myra.
Hey, Myra. Gonna see you in a week and a half.
Yay.
You got it.
So here we are. The shrimp is breaded. The first batch is ready to go. So I'm over at the stove. I've got the pan hot. Yep, we got the oil's hot enough. Got a big cast iron pan, as I said, with grapeseed oil. And these are gonna cook for, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes on each side. It's not an exact science. It depends on how hot the oil is. And then at the end, the oil cools off and goes in the trash. Because cooking in shellfish in oil, or fish in oil, you only want to use it one time. So I'm gonna do the shrimp, and then I'm gonna start the sauce, and then I'll do the vegetables and the rice at the same time. You know, once I start making the sauce.
Like a big bowl for the sauce, Jim?
For the what?
You're gonna put the sauce directly in the pan?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it in the pan.
You need to mix it first?
No.
Okay.
No. So
What was the most successful dish at the boarding house when you were the owner?
the dish that we called boarding house swordfish, and it was baked, and it was served with béarnaise sauce and pecan butter, and it almost tasted like dessert. And I'm not really a swordfish fan, but I liked that. And for other people who didn't like swordfish, they thought it was pretty close to dessert. So
No, that was our favorite dish.
that's an easy one to do, actually. So there's no cooking. Got it pretty high. The burner's pretty high, so it's been a couple minutes. So it's gonna be another minute. So in the meantime, I did stuff ahead. I have a pan with olive oil and some chopped garlic here, and I'm putting it on the simmer burner, and I'm gonna just let the fragrance of the garlic infuse in the olive oil, and then once that happens in 3 or 4 minutes, then I'm gonna throw the spinach in, and I'll turn it off very early because it might take 5 minutes. I'm gonna stuff a lot of spinach in a small pan.
Sorry for wiggling it around. I want you guys to see the shrimp.
So the other thing I'm doing is I'm gonna do basmati rice. So I'm gonna saute some onions in some olive oil. This isn't the meal I feed the prisoners down at the sheriff's office, by the way.
So we do our basmati rice with butter.
Yeah,
Olive,
you can use butter, you can use ghee. I happen to use olive oil, it's handy, although we have ghee, we use ghee a lot in cooking, if you know what ghee is. Ghee is clarified butter. And sometimes we make our own. So the first, like I said, I'm cooking 20 shrimp. The first 10 are almost done. So after I put the second 10 in, I'm gonna start making the sauce.
There's, possibly something.
Huh?
Don't bring yourself these pot holders in the drawer.
Pot holders in the drawer, right?
Janet, can you see the shrimp? Am I doing this right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
So is the shrimp just in a low fry?
Actually, I got it going pretty high. It's not, there's only about half an inch of oil in the pan. So they're not really actually deep frying as such, but if you had one of those fry babies at home or fry daddies, that would be easy to do this in that. So I'm just putting them the first batch on a pan to drain. And what happened in the old days in the restaurant, we'd cook up, you couldn't do this to order, it would be too frantic. So we'd cook up 30 or 40 orders ahead of time and then cook the sauce to order. And we'd heat the shrimp in the oven just to get them crispy again.
So Jim, you did not bring the oil back to a high temperature.
Well, I didn't, but I didn't overstuff the shrimp into the pan. So it came right back to a boil here, to a fry. So I had it pretty hot. So other times that's a good point, but I could have stuffed all 20 shrimp in that pan. Would have taken longer, would have cooled off pretty much, but.
Okay.
So now I've got butter. Nothing beats butter. Butter is going to be the base of the mustard sauce.
Okay, I'm gonna shift around because my arm's getting tired.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna come over there.
All right. You want to put it here?
Mhm. All right, can everybody see?
So we put on the chat the recipe for the mustard sauce, which is the star of the show here. It's going to be butter, and I'm going to put, when the butter melts and gets a little frothy, I'm going to put some chopped shallots and chopped garlic in. And then I'm going to put the mustard in, a little pepper, probably a little salt, and then I'm going to deglaze with, after all that's hot and cooking pretty well, I'm going to put some dry vermouth and brandy. And then I'm going to put the heavy cream in. We only use the best here, Courvoisier. And once I get the heavy cream in at the end, I'll let that reduce a little and thicken up.
Delicious.
Where do I get the recipe from?
The recipe for the sauce is on the chat, but I think,
And I've been following along, so I'm taking notes as he goes, and once he's done, I'll put that in the chat.
How do you get to the chat?
Oh, that's okay. What I also can do is I have everyone's, if you've registered, I have your email, so I can email this to everyone as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Great.
The chat
would
at
be
the
great.
bottom of the page
Yeah.
that you're looking at with several little icons for participants, chat, things like that.
Is that that?
Jim, did Dave Lucier have anything to do with this menu?
Not this item. I worked for Dave for 3 years, as you know, maybe 4 years. So I worked for him at the Jared Coffin first, and then I worked for him at the Mad Hatter. And then, yeah, then I went off on my own. And he
Yeah,
was very,
I think I remember being beside you one or two of those years.
he was very supportive of my going out and buying a place. So now the shallots and the garlic are going in the melted butter. And I'll let those fry for a little bit. And the pan of the shrimp is getting hot, so I just turned the oven on because what time is it? It's 7:25, and the shrimp is going to be ready before I'm ready to eat it, of course. So I'll throw some of the shrimp in the oven to keep them warm.
And what is the temperature in the oven?
Well, if I needed to heat them up in a hurry, it would be 350, but I just turned it on to 200 because I'm going to put them in and it'll just keep them warm. It'll keep them warm enough, and the sauce is going to be hot. So the garlic and the shallots are sauteing in the butter. A little pepper, a little kosher salt. You can use any kind of salt. Now the Dijon. So the shrimp are done. Pretty easy, I think. It's messy, but well, whatever. So the onions I have for the rice are they're steaming pretty good. So I'm going to add the rice and the vegetable broth. We'll give that a stir. Yep. Little saffron, never heard anything.
Mhm.
You don't need much. Yep. Just a few sprinkles in there would be great. Okay, here we are. Little dry vermouth in the sauce. Little brandy. So I've got the mustard and the shallots and all that stuff going pretty good. I think I can get, my hands are a little greasy, so I can't get the heavy cream open, but that's all right.
So is the mustard sauce actually boiling? Is it bubbling?
Yep, it is.
Okay.
Don't pour anything yet, let me show them.
Here comes the heavy cream.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
And
I'm
now
gonna,
this,
have to tell on you, Sherry.
What was that?
this isn't the way we eat, by the way, usually, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so now the spinach is going in. There, everything's on. So now I'm just waiting. Actually, I'm gonna move the oil off the back burner, which is the largest burner. Yeah. And move the sauce for the sauce for the shrimp is on the hot burner now, so it's gonna take a little while, probably take about 5 to 8 minutes to start boiling and reducing, and that'll be the sauce.
Jimmy, can you explain again what you do with the rice?
The rice, okay, it's basmati rice. You can use any kind of rice, really, but so I rinse the rice, use the cup, and I use the cup and about 1 3/4 cups of vegetable stock. But I sauteed some onions first, then I threw the rice in, got them all covered with the oil from the onions and the oil and the olive oil. Then I poured in the broth and I sprinkled some saffron in just to give it a little boost.
All right. And did you like chop up 1 onion?
I chopped up about a half an onion.
Okay.
And I did all that chopping ahead of time just because too much going on because you can, I had yeah, that's what happens in a restaurant, so. Anybody have any questions about, it doesn't have to be about food. Some of you know what else I do in life, but hopefully you haven't seen me professionally, but maybe you have, I don't know.
Jimmy, when you're heating up the sauce, do you keep it from coming to a boil since there's cream in there?
No, well, heavy cream won't break, so
Oh,
I suppose it would eventually, but no, I want it to boil.
oh, okay.
We'll turn it down a little. It's actually, it's bubbling a little bit around the edges right now.
Keep one of your children. The other one must go.
No, if you do milk or half and half, it'll break, but heavy cream won't, so.
For lack of a better word, is good.
Did you remove the shallot and the garlic from your oil or?
I did not. It's from the sauce, no, it's all in there.
No. I meant you infuse the oil with that garlic and,
Oh, in the spinach?
yeah.
No,
You
I
take
kept
that
it in there. I kept it in there because we love garlic in this house, so.
out. Me too.
I didn't let it burn. There's a little moisture from rinsing the spinach, so, that'll keep the garlic from burning,
Okay, good.
if that answers the question.
Oh,
Okay, now the sauce is doing its thing. You see it
Now,
bubble?
Jim, are you going to reduce that sauce to a particular consistency or just to your
Yeah,
taste?
I want to reduce it probably by about 1/3. I want to be able to spoon it on and, I don't want it to be milky. I want it to be thicker than that, so. And it'll turn a little darker as it's cooking too, so. I will say I'm using a non-stick pan for this. So just because it's going to be easier to clean at the end, and I can stir it a little bit with a wooden spoon rather than a metal utensil, but. Right, in a restaurant, you'd be using either a cast iron pan or an aluminum pan. Unless you're a breakfast place, then you might use a non-stick pan for omelets. Now it's bubbling pretty good. I'm a little ahead of schedule. What's anybody think? Anybody have any questions?
When you serve it, do you do the rice and then the spinach and then
I think I'd
how would
probably put the shrimp on top of the rice,
uh-huh.
and then the spinach on the side, on the same dish though.
But on the side, and then the sauce over the shrimp.
Right. So the rice is a little slow, and
I'm so gonna try this.
so the vegetable and the rice, I mean, you could use, when I had the restaurant, it was, we'd be so busy, it was hard to, you didn't want to do more than one starch most of the time. So we usually had new potatoes. New potatoes was the starch. So the shrimp went with the new potatoes. And it was just it was in a casserole dish, actually, we served it. So the sauce is just starting to thicken up a bit. It's got plenty of mustard flavor, a little bit of brandy. The brandy didn't burn off, but I think the heat will burn it off.
And as an end result, Jim, is that sauce going to be pourable liquid or thick and creamy?
It's going to be sort of half of each. I'm going to use I'll use a spoon to, well, let's see. No, it's going to be thicker than the consistency of heavy cream, but not as thick as whipped cream, obviously.
Jim, it looks so good. I think I can smell it. It's a really funny thing. I just remember the taste of it, so that's what I'm smelling right now.
Okay, well, we'll have to have an arrangement, Sandy. I think I was supposed to come over and cook this for you sometime.
I know. Maybe this summer.
Okay.
They want the swordfish with the pecan butter or the béarnaise.
Now the sauce is, I just turned the sauce down. I'm going to turn it down a little more because it's reducing and it'll continue to thicken. So it's not as thick as I'd like it, but until the other stuff is ready, I'm a little behind on the rice and the spinach. So.
So in the restaurant, did you serve it always with rice or sometimes potatoes or?
More often than not, it was with potatoes because we put the shrimp in a casserole dish, so they were by themselves. Once in a while, we served rice, but we let people do that on their own. We'd let them put it on, if they wanted to put the shrimp and the sauce that was with it on top of rice or mash their potatoes on the plate.
But with potatoes, it was in a casserole. It was
Right,
in,
the potatoes, the casserole fit on the dinner plate.
right.
And the potatoes and the vegetable were on the side.
How you serve it in a restaurant is important. It's,
Exactly.
So Jim, they would eat the shrimp out of the casserole dish, so therefore there would be liquid left in the bottom when they're done?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And like I said earlier, this would be good with chicken too, right? You know, you don't have to do it with shrimp. We just happen to do it with shrimp.
What cut of chicken would you use?
I pound the chicken breast a little bit, you know, flatten it out a little, and you could fry it or not. You could just pan sear it if you like till it's done, and then make the sauce separate and pour it over if you didn't want to do all the fried stuff, which I certainly understand.
Okay.
But the fried, the crispiness of the breading on the shrimp is really it's really kind of special. Okay, everything's cooking along. We're almost yeah, sure. Here's a casserole dish. So the shrimp are going to go in here, and the sauce is going to go over, and the vegetable and the rice are going to go on the side.
Great.
See.
Jimmy, tell us how you first got into cooking. Did you love to cook growing up and have a first job that you remember?
My first job was, I was a summer kid on Nantucket, and when I was 14, I got a job at the Jetties Beach working for Sid Killen, who is, some of you may know Sid, Debbie Killen's father. He ran the concession at the Jetties for, I think, 10 or 12 years, and I worked for him for 4 summers. And it was just a hamburger, hot dog, you know, egg salad kind of place, grilled cheese place. But I learned a lot. The second year I was there, everybody quit at the end, before the end of the season. So I got promoted from putting little relish and ketchup in little portion cups to cooking the hamburgers. I was the head chef. It was a big deal. And then the summer of 1969, with Woodstock summer, everybody quit. I was too nervous to quit. What a fool. I could have gone to Woodstock with everybody else. I stayed on.
At traffic.
Right, the traffic.
At
You know,
Woodstock.
I stayed on, and, you know, and I was treated well for staying on that summer.
Very nice.
The summer of 1970s, I had gotten out of high school in 1969, and right after the summer season, I went into the Air Force basic training. And after I finished that, I came back to Nantucket for one more summer. And here I am, it's 1970.
Never left. Yep.
Still here. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
The rest is history, as they say.
Never left.
So almost ready.
I remember when Sid Killen ran the Jetties. It was a good times.
It was.
Yeah.
Camp Holiday was there. The Cahoons had Camp Holiday. Maybe
I remember when Mr. Curry ran it.
Okay, that's before my time.
That's a long time ago. That was Mr. Curry of Jane Curry Silva.
Of Cliffside, right?
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
Long time
Sheriff,
ago.
Sheriff, this is Peter Morrison here, masquerading under the name of my wife, Mary Worrell.
Hi.
And how you doing? I never knew that you were anything but the sheriff. Could you tell us how you got to become sheriff?
Well, on Nantucket, when you live on Nantucket, and if you don't have a career, which I really didn't, I owned the boarding house restaurant and I sold it in 1986, the beginning of 1986. So there was my career was gone, and I started working a bunch of part-time jobs. I worked at the gas station at D&B Gas in the wintertime, and I tended bar at the Languedoc in Chanticleer in the summertime. And then, so, you know, I started a little catering business, but in the meantime, all of those were part-time things, and I got a job as a court officer and a constable. So I started working the elections and working as a court officer. In 2009, the Inquirer and Mirror was my biggest ally, I will say. They didn't like the incumbent sheriff, and I didn't have a problem with it, but I thought somebody could do better. So a year before the election of 2010, I announced I was running for sheriff. And come November 2010, I won election, and then I got reelected in 2016. So.
Well, how long in the term, Jimmy?
6 years.
Are you going to run again?
Oh, yes. What else am I going to do? Unless somebody wants to hire me to buy the Brotherhood and I'll be their chef or something. I say to all my old friends who are in the business, let's get the band back together and, hit me over the head if I had second thoughts about doing that. But
Jason, what is?
So Jim, this sauce has been reducing for about 13 minutes. Is that about right?
Yep, I've turned it up and turned it down as I've needed to. The rice is done, the spinach is done. So, it's thin, but it's going to keep. It's a little thin, but you'll see how it is on the. I could thicken it a little more, but I like it this way. So
what does it taste like, Jim? What's the sauce?
It's heavy mustard. You get a tiny bit of brandy. Plus I put the garlic and shallots in there, so there's a little bit of everything. So. So I'm plating a dinner. Let's see.
So Janet, on the chat, you have the ingredients, but not actually the preparation or the timing or what goes first. Can you add that later?
I can add that to the chat now. I've been typing it up as he went along.
Oh, great.
Put it in the chat, and then I have it in a Word document. So if you have trouble with the chat, I'll send an email to everyone with the rice, the shrimp, and the sauce. So I don't know if it'll let me paste it.
Great. Definitely send the in the email.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time pasting it in. So tell you what I'll do is I'll email it to everyone.
That'd be great, because I don't know how to do a chat thing.
Okay, I don't know if you can't see the plate, but here's the plate.
Oh, someone else said Gerald Fleck said send the email. Oh, that looks delicious. Oh my God, it looks so good.
I'm gonna put a little chopped chives on top.
And then put chopped.
Parsley. And
a lot of love.
Voila, bon appetit.
Very, very nice. Thank you, Jim.
Well, any questions, I'm available.
Hey, Jim.
What time is dinner?
Wonderful.
Lots of hearts and lots of claps in the participants.
Nice job, Jim.
Really nice.
We'll be over in about 10 minutes, Sherry and Jim.
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna fly in on my broomstick.
Hey, Jim, if you use chicken thighs, boneless, skinless thighs.
Thighs would be, I like thighs better than chicken breasts, so I would think all the better. Saute them or bake them, it's all about the sauce, really.
Smells great, Jim.
Angela says, thank you so much. This South Carolina girl always appreciates a new way to prepare shrimp.
Bravo, Jim.
Yay.
Jim, this was fun. It's Martha Berlin from DC.
Hi,
And
Martha.
I wanted, hi, Sherry.
Oh, so nice to hear your voice.
Thank you.
It's tiny in the screen, so I can't really see you very well, but.
Am I okay?
I'm gonna get a gallery view here so that Jimmy can see some smiling faces.
Yeah, here we remove.
Hey, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim. It was great.
Thank you, Jimmy. Hi, Sherry.
Thanks, Jim. Bruce and Madigan, thank you from the
Thank
West
you,
End.
Jim.
Thank you so much. Thank you from Paula. It's awesome.
Thank you, Jim and Sherry.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
And Sherry.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you,
All right.
Jimmy.
Feel free to call me at my office.
Nice job, Sheriff.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you
Look
need
forward to seeing you
reminders,
this summer.
And you better not go to the Brotherhood either.
Amy.
Yeah, we need him right where he is, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice t-shirt, Jim.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bring some in tomorrow.
Right.
See you on the beach, Ellie.
You can see.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jimmy.
See you on the mat.
Hi, Bruce. They're not saying.
We're, by the way, for any of the yoga students on board, we're in the process of building an outside studio, so at home, so we'll be able to do classes outside.
At
Nice.
your house?
Yep,
Very excited about that.
I didn't know if Sherry had passed that along, but it's 2 days from being finished, I think, so.
Wow.
That's
So,
so
is it in addition to Bartlett's or in lieu of?
Well, nobody's sure about what's happening at Bartlett's this summer, so, we gotta control our own destiny, as they say, so.
Right.
Sherry's always had some classes at home, and now she'll be able to do them outside if people aren't comfortable with being inside. So,
Sounds wonderful. Look forward to it.
Yep.
Goodbye, everybody. See you in July.
Bye-bye, and thank you.
Thanks, Ellie.
See you on the
Thank
beach.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Great job, Jim. A lot of
Thanks.
fun.
Awesome.
We'll be getting some fudge soon, Leah.
Good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Janet and Jim.
Thank you. Okay, that's it.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Any of the words?
Yeah, you can read. Yeah, you want to say?
Thank you, Jimmy.
Hi,
You're
Leah.
welcome.
Somebody's saying hi.
Yeah, you ate at some of my meals.
Oh, many. That's that's my favorite, plus the swordfish. I'm waiting for the swordfish with the cons.
Okay, maybe next winter we'll do that.
All right, sign me up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Nancy.
Good night, Jim.
Good night.
Do one together with in September?
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, but does that mean leftovers for work tomorrow?
Sorry, be lunch from Stubby tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, John.
Bye.
Jim.
Hi, Diddy.
Bon appetit.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this. Can't
Great.
wait to try it.
Thanks for tuning in.
I love it. Can't wait for the next night.
All right.
Good night.
Cannot wait.
I think I'm gonna wrap us up. Does anyone else want to say goodbye? It was like, oh, so many old friends, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
Yeah,
Janet.
Janet, that was great.
Amy, thank you
yeah.
so much.
Thank you. This was spectacular.
And you mentioned somebody named David who's involved as well?
Daniel.
Daniel, thank you if you're still there. Thank you so much.
Excellent camera work, Sherry.
At one point, I didn't realize it, but I just got a text from Caleb saying my hand might have been on the mic. But I think you got most of it, right?
Yeah, we heard you great.
Hi, Linda Carroll.